Hi, so this is the first video in a series of videos where I would be talking about interviews. It will be about interviews in general, but mostly for tech interviews. I think about maybe 70 to 80% of the stuff that I would be talking about would apply to other jobs. But before this, let me just give a little bit of background about myself. So I have been working in software engineering for I think about 23 years, give or take. Originally graduated. I have originally graduated from computer science school. Basically, I hold a bachelor of computer science. I have worked in my career between a lot of different companies, like FAANG plus companies like Microsoft, Amazon, Google, and basically kind of a medium other companies like Booking.com and several startups. I worked in a lot of different countries, in different continents, and in a lot of different domains, whether business domains, technology domains, and also switching between IC leadership and management. But I have been focused mainly on leadership and management for maybe the last 12 years, give or take. And aside from this, I have been mentoring people for a little bit over 25 years. I mentored students, graduates, people with early career, mid-career, senior career, all the way to executives, and on different things like whether it's tech, career, business, scaling of companies, hiring, management, a lot of different things. And I am rated top 1% in different platforms when it comes to mentorship worldwide. On a one-to-one basis, I mentored thousands of people, maybe over 10,000. And through articles and videos and things like that, the number is easily in millions. And aside from this, which may not be really related, but it's kind of affecting the point of view. I'm kind of a polymath. I went through over a dozen different fields. And I have, when it comes to interviews, I performed, I think, easily above 3,000 or 4,000 interviews, some of them within the professional capacity as a hiring manager in different companies that I worked in, and others through mock interviews, mentorship, and things like that. So why am I doing this? So a few years ago, I think it was beginning of 2022, I created a course called Interview Secrets, and I published it on Udemy. It was, and still, top-rated course, basically bestseller, and it was done in Arabic because that kind of content is very rare in Arabic, and it helped a lot of people secure jobs everywhere, from internships to even top management, senior management, and even executive roles in FAANG and non-FAANG, and in many cases not even in tech roles, which was kind of surprising because initially the intention was to cover tech interviews, but basically what I have been told that the advices that I gave works in a lot of different scenarios. So I initially thought about maybe doing the exact same course in English, but I started to think kind of different. So a lot of people, and there was a lot of books and a lot of resources exist teaching you exactly what to do in an interview. It doesn't matter whether it's tech or non-tech, but very few resources tell you how to do in the interview. The problem is the how component is as important as the what component, and when you grow up in your career, senior and beyond, the how component becomes much more important than the what component. To be clear, the what component is what you're capable of. You can do problem solving, you can solve data structures, questions, you can do system design. This is the what component. The how component is how to go about it. It's a mixture between soft skills, behavioral, interaction, time management, all those kind of things that it's very rare to find information about it. So through my experience, which I would think it is as close as a random sample that you will find, because on those 3,000-4,000 interviews that I did. It was done to people across genders, across countries, across different places, across different experience levels, across different companies, backgrounds. It spans everywhere. So basically what I'm going to talk about is, I called it like engineering, the engineering interview. And the idea here is that you can actually engineer the way that you go about an interview and pass the interview. And pass it when you don't have enough of the what component. Like in other words, you can actually pass some interviews without actually solving the question. So that would bring one question in mind. Is this like a cheating guideline on how to pass interviews without being knowledgeable? Actually no, because first of all, like if your interviewer know anything about interviewing, they would be able to catch if you are just bullshitting or you actually know what you're talking about. So that's part one. Part two, I would not advise at all that you just pass or work your way into a job that you know you're not capable of doing, because it's useless. At the end of the day, like if you are basically interviewing, let's say, for one FAANG company like Meta or Google or Apple, and you know that the job itself is something above your skills, you may be able to join, but then what? Like, you would be on probation. If you really sucked at it, you would be let go maybe in the first month, 6 weeks. Best case scenario, you would complete your 3 months of probation and then you will let go. So it's not really a good idea to cheat your way into that position, especially if it is happening in a different country or different cities, because you would do a lot of effort having documents, leaving your home, maybe selling your stuff, and then you go, and then you let go, and then you would end up with like a month or two to find a different job, or you would leave the country. So it's not really a good idea. So what I'm going to talk about in this series is basically how to focus on the how component, given that you have the what component, okay? If you want to cheat using this, be my guest, but it would basically cause you a lot of harm. I always tell people that I have gone through interviews that I know exactly how to pass the interview, but I end up intentionally answering questions or stories or stuff like that based on the way I see fit. Why is this? Because if I lied or just told people what they want to hear and I ended up in joining a company, again, I would end up with one of two things. Either getting fired because I cannot do what they are asking me or I'm not willing to do that, or I end up changing what I believe is right or wrong, and then I would become miserable doing stuff that I don't think is the right way to do. That's why I always try in interviews to basically show the actual way I behave at work, and then if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I'm not really regretting anything. So this would be the format of this series. I would be going through the how component in the different parts of interviews, like problem solving or coding interviews, project deep dive interviews, system design, behavioral, leadership, management. Every one of them would have like a little bit of like a shorter episode, and yeah, that's about it. So thank you for like watching this, and see you in the next video.